Everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Are you one of those managers that is been commissioned to hire good salespeople, but maybe you yourself have never really been properly trained on how to hire good salespeople? What are the characteristics you're looking for? What are the skills that you're looking for? Well, on today's show, we have Matt Easton right back here in the studio with us. He's a sales trainer, consultant, and founder of Easton University. Thank you, Matt, for joining us once again. This is a problem that we hear so much about. Managers are given that task of hiring good salespeople, but all too often, and I was one of them, I have to admit, I wasn't given the training on how to hire people, although that was part of my job responsibility. And I know I made a ton of mistakes in hiring people.
I did as well. And I think probably your background was similar to mine in that you were really great at sales. So of course the natural progression is let's make Jim a manager.
That's right. It's exactly what happened.
Just because you're a great offensive lineman does not necessarily mean
you're a good head coach.
Correct.
That's
exactly.
Right.
But and that's just what we face. And the problem is too with a lot of those training, and there's some fantastic people in human resources. I am not one. Sales is my specialty. Human resources is not it.
Sure.
But also the human resources people that are providing the training for the people that do get the training. Well, guess what? They don't live in the sales world.
Yeah, I know.
So how do they tell a manager what to look for?
I know. So what's the key? If you were a manager today and you had to hire, a team of salespeople, what's the proper way to conduct an interview just to get that right person?
Yeah, so the things that I would look for, all right? First off, here's what doesn't work. And here's what probably you did, and I did this ad nauseum before I figured it out. You look for pedigree, right? First thing you're always going to look for is, did this person work for my competition?
Right.
I'm checking the resume to see where they worked, okay? That does not, it didn't work so great before, but it doesn't work today because a lot of times the people that were successful in yesterday's world of sales are the exact opposite of the people that you want on your team today.
And it could be that other company said, hey, go bye-bye, and we really don't need you on our team. And then you think, okay, this guy must have been good or this person must have been good. Let's get him in here, when that could be nothing further from the truth.
Correct. And the other, besides pedigree, the other, and you tell me if this resonates with you at all, the other thing, because I'll admit that I made this mistake, the other thing that we look for is almost a mirror reflection of ourselves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Do they look like me? Do they talk like me? Do they have the same mannerisms as me? Because I was successful. And we're not mind readers, Jim. Like just because somebody comes in and they maybe have the look that you're looking for, does not mean it took you a lot to be as successful as you are, right? Even from going from that sales position to being promoted to a manager the first time.
Right.
Just because somebody acts, looks like you does not mean they're going to have your work ethic.
Right.
So pedigree and similarity, I would have those take a back seat.
That's right. That's right.
The things that I would look for, here's what I would look for in today's world. Number one, work ethic, right? If they're late, it's not happening, right? And I say that, and the folks watching this, you're like, oh, I would never hire somebody that was late to the interview. You have.
That's right.
And you will.
That's right.
Why? Because they were late, but they worked at the competition down the street.
Right.
And they kind of looked like you. You both had green jackets on, right? And you are willing to let those things go.
That's right.
Okay, I want to make sure, and no disrespect to the people out there that their car broke down or they're late, you missed that one, right? You should not hire somebody that shows up late.
Yeah.
The other thing that you want to look for, and most important thing that I look for when I hire people to work for my companies, is curiosity, right?
Okay.
If you're curious.
Right.
And not necessarily the disingenuous curiosity of leftover from bygones ago. Oh, is that a fishing trophy on your wall? Right? How do we do things here?
Right.
Why do you do that?
Right.
Who's that? Who's the lady that I met when I came in? Oh, that was Paula. What does Paula do?
Yeah.
Right? If I can find somebody that is genuinely by nature curious, and this is why I say eliminate pedigree.
Yeah.
Because the people that come in that work for your competition, they are the least curious people out there.
Yeah.
They know what I know how to do this. I'm gonna crush my numbers. I'm gonna be number one at the company, and they don't want to know anything about why do we do this? What are our plans? Jim, what's your goals for the store? What's your goals for the territory?
Right.
Why is that? What do you? And just curious, what do you think we could sell next year? Oh, I think we could double our numbers. Why do you think that, Jim? Right? So I would look for curiosity. I would look for somebody that is taking notes as I speak. Okay? I'm telling you, these are simple things, but nobody does them in a job interview.
That's right.
And I would like to see somebody come in. I would ask them to recap. And I know it's going to get really depressing because you're going to end up going, they're not doing it. First question I would ask, and I would like it if they would volunteer it, but I would ask them to recap based on all the research they've done, all the previous conversations they've had, even if it was just one with Paula, 55 minutes before, whatever it is, what's their understanding of our current situation? Right? See if that person can articulate back to me or even cared enough to figure out what their understanding of my situation is.
Your situation as the
manager, as the company, right? Why is it that we spend so much time in a job interview talking about that person's background? I don't care if you've only worked at Starbucks. If you're curious and start asking questions about why do you do that at Easton University? Who was that? Oh, that was Heather. Who's Heather? Oh, Heather's my wife. Oh, awesome. Right? How long have you guys been married? Cool. Hey, what's your understanding of the situation? Oh, my understanding, and I could be wrong. No, go ahead. You guys are trying to do bump, 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 bump. Right? And then ask that, what do you think the capabilities we need in this job are? I'm not necessarily concerned with, does that person have the right answers? I want to know if they've even thought of an answer. Because so many times folks today come into a job interview thinking, because this is the mistake that we make, we're going to spend 20 minutes trying to relate how their previous experience, how their on-paper resume will get me to what I want.
That's right. We make it way too easy for them, don't we?
Way too easy.
It's almost like if they just show up, and to your point, even if they showed up late, we still make it easy for them.
Correct.
Now, for the managers that are listening, they may say, well, we hear what you're saying, Matt and Jim. However, it's tough to get anybody in here. So if somebody comes in and they're late, but it's the only person that we have to talk to that day because people are not responding to our ads the way they used to 2 years ago prior to COVID hitting, you almost have to take what you can get, right? Is there some degree of truth to that?
There's a lot of degree of truth to that, Jim. And I'll be honest. There's some good news and bad news. The bad news is there's no short-term fix to that. And I don't mean because of our society. Let's just say the society doesn't get any better. The pool is bleak. The good news is there is an answer to that, but it's going to take a little bit of investment on that manager's part. If you can begin to hire, now you're going to have to find needles in the haystack, right? Not that many, though. It's not that hard. People that are genuinely curious, people that have some ideas. Bring me ideas as a manager. If that person's coming into an interview and can give me some ideas and is curious about how we do business, I can work with them. Here's the long-term fix, though. If I install a sales process and I coach and mentor that person with the goal in mind of, I know that Jim is probably not going to work for me forever. I want to help Jim be the best Jim that Jim can be. Maybe he'll go off and manage another store for us. Maybe he'll go off.
So long as when he leaves, he's better than...
Yes. And if that manager can, instead of focusing on pedigree and background and how do I take from the competition and just put that widget in my machine, how can I take a lump of clay and mold that person into a great person? All of the sudden, you know what that person does? Hey, I got some bad news. I got promoted to vice president of congratulations. Hey, but I've got a couple people that I want you to talk to. If you treat your people right. And you train your people correctly and you give them the skills to, ideally, me as a manager, I want everybody I hire to take my job one day. If I can give you those skills and put you in the best position to win, you're going to bring me candidate after candidate after candidate. If I continue to interview people based on pedigree, based on their background, based on their resume, I'm going to have a revolving door policy. And it's always going to be the same thing.
It's interesting to me when I'll ask the question when we interview here at JBF Business Media, where I'll say to somebody that comes in, wants to join the organization, did you take some time to take a look at our different websites that we have, our different media websites?
Oh, you're probably almost like terrified to hear the answer.
I'm shocked sometimes when they say, "Oh no, I haven't had a chance to do that." So everything is on the web. Everything that we do is on the web, right?
Yeah.
It's all digital. That's the kind of media that we're in. There's nothing else out there. You can learn so much about us as a company and us in terms of what our North Star is and everything else. And it's amazing to be the number of people that will come in for a job interview, take the time to drive here, and we're in Atlanta, so it's not easy. And they'll say, no, I haven't. What's the URL or what's the website?
Yeah.
And for the ones that have come in and said, I'm glad you asked. Not only did I look at the websites, but I've got a whole pad full of notes here and some questions about them.
Correct.
They are 50% in my book through the interview with a big check mark. Because that's, to your point, that curiosity can start before you ever get to that job interview.
Yes, and you're not doing this, Jim, but for everybody else out there, there's a flip side to that coin of the people that come in, I'll get to that, I haven't done that.
Right.
The flip side to that coin is a lot of our listeners, viewers, watchers out there, managers out there, you're having somebody that is curious, that does have some opinions, that has done their research, but they don't have the on-the-job experience.
Right.
They didn't work for a competitor.
That's right.
They don't have the pedigree. And you're letting that person go.
Yeah.
What I need them to realize is if it was me and I was on your board of directors, the risk I want to take, the bet I'm willing to make is hiring that person that came in with the notepad, that maybe, of course, in an ideal world, they came in with a notepad, 10 years of experience, and they helped your competition triple their business.
Right.
Okay, it's a unicorn.
Sure.
Congratulations, you found one, right? It'll probably never happen again as long as you're
exactly right.
But I would rather take the bet on the notepad that showed up on time, that had some ideas. Some of them were pretty good. Some of them were terrible. But they had some ideas. Than the person that came in, haven't looked at the website, I'll get around to it, but I'm crushing my numbers and I was President's Club, every we're going to have to take a risk regardless, unless it's the unicorn.
That's right. That's right.
Let's take the risk on the person that is coachable, that wants to learn, and they're never going to be as invested in our business as we are. And I'm speaking to managers too that don't know. If you're a manager, you're invested, right? If you've made it that far in your career, you're invested. They're never going to be that invested, but let's get the people that have that passion first. Because if you can't coach them, I can, right? There's other people out there that can coach them, but they have to be coachable. Right. So let's find somebody who's got an idea, is curious and coachable. I'll make them a rock star.
That's right. That's right. And we, the other thing that kind of, irks my wife and I as we sit there in the conference room and, an applicant will come in and is, I hate to say it, and maybe I'm too old fashioned, but what they wear to the interview blows me away. It's just, did you stop off when you're on your way to the park? You were going to play softball and you figured, let me go in to this media company and apply for a job that's in some cases a 6-figure income, and yet you look like you just got off the train from the beach, and it's just amazing, right? Yeah, and I don't want to go into my personal story, but I'm moderately successful now. I've got plenty of money to buy whatever I want. There was a long period of time when I didn't, and I had to make some difficult choices, right? And one of those difficult choices was I needed to buy a suit, right? Because I knew I needed a suit for job interviews. I made that risk. I think we've all been there. Absolutely. And then today there's so many people that won't do that. Let me give you a little litmus test on that one. Managers out there, you ready for this? Here's a quick little test. You're probably not going to like the answers. You want to do a test on any candidate? Call them on their phone. I want to hear what their voicemail is. Do they even have a voicemail? That's right. Is it the robot? You've reached 555-5555. Or, hey, it's Brenda. You know what to do, right? You will be shocked at how many people can put up a front in a job interview. That's right. Right? That's right, yeah. Maybe they're dressed nice, maybe they're not. Right. But a great way to peek behind that curtain. That's right. Did they even take 3 minutes? To less than 3 minutes. And that's the message that your customers are going to get when you put this person and the effort level into sales. Right? That's right. It takes 30 seconds. You've reached Matt. Your call is very important to me. Please leave a message or send a text on how I can best respond. Right. And that's exactly what I'll do. Now, I coach people how to leave a great voicemail, but again, theirs doesn't have to be perfect. Right. But if it's some silly nonsense or worse, they never took the time to even realize they have voicemail. That's right.
probably not a candidate I want on my team.
That's right. Matt Easton. That's why we bring you in here, Matt. You got the answers, and they're relative and they're relevant in today's market, and that's the key. So, people, listening to us have this discussion out there. If you're given the task of hiring good salespeople, and that's specifically what we're talking about today, salespeople, you need to learn how to do that. Matt just gave you some great tips, but there's so much more there. Maybe check out Easton University, and they've got more of it there. But this is something that you want to get your hands around. Don't go into the next interview and say, "Oh yeah, this guy's a good guy," or "She's very nice," or
great background.
Yeah, great background. They worked to your point. They work for our competition. I'm sure they'll be fine. Not necessarily the case. Often it's not the case. So Matt, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
The world of sales has completely changed. Today's customer has access to more information. Today's customer has more choices. The business world needs you. Studies have shown that 84% of salespeople fail to achieve their goals. The old sales training, it just doesn't work today. I'd like to teach you how to take the stress out of selling in a way that's meaningful to you and your customers, and get you 7 times more business. I'll show you how the perfect sales process works. I'm gonna walk you through everything from prospecting to closing the deal. I'm gonna show you how to determine your prospects' wants and their needs so you can build value in your solutions. You will learn how to handle any objection or complaint. I'm gonna show you how to connect with your customer so it's easy for them to buy from you. I've taught the best companies in the world and thousands of people just like you how to hit their targets. Selling is complicated. I'll simplify it for you. There's more competition than ever before. I'm gonna show you how to be number one. All of a sudden, your career is gonna make perfect sense, even if you've never worked in sales or the corporate world before. And for the advanced sales professionals, I'm gonna show you how to take things to the next level. Easton University is a new, simple, step-by-step process that's effective in any industry, large or small. You are about to become a certified master sales consultant. I'm Matt Easton, and this is Easton University.